First, a really heartwarming story actually today. After a radio presenter gave his old phone to his young daughter, he was surprised to discover when she gave it back that she'd been sending text messages to her grandfather. Now, he'd died 5 years previously, so the contacts and things were still on there. So she obviously thought it wasn't connected to the internet or anything. And she was leaving messages like, "I love you, Grandad." Oh, here we go. "Have a great time in heaven. I hope you meet Jesus. I hope you had an amazing life. I absolutely love you, and my life could not have been this amazing without you. I'm nearly 10 now, and Elizabeth is 12. She loved your present, by the way. Your present was your love." And it was radio presenter James O'Brien who admitted that he did have, a tear in his eye when he read that. And I thought, well, how lovely. And actually, I thought how comforting that maybe she was just enjoying. I mean, she obviously knew her grandfather had died.
Yeah.
She was enjoying having that conversation.
Yeah. I think especially when you're younger, your connection with death and how you think of death or somebody dying is completely different, especially at 9, I think she was 9.
Yeah.
You definitely believe that they're either listening or watching or whatever else. Not as young, but I lost someone extremely close to me when I was 16. And afterwards, because it was so sudden, I had a phone full of text messages and photos and videos and everything, and I would watch back to those and kind of have little conversations in my head a lot, because you kind of have a lot of things that are left unsaid of it.
Yeah, so when it's sudden like that.
Yeah. And you do almost believe that, like, maybe because they've just gone, they're kind of listening a little bit, and if you say something's worth a try, and if they're not hearing, then you don't lose out on anything. But as you get older, I think your view on death changes a lot, and you kind of become more accepting of the fact that when somebody's gone, they're gone. I mean, it depends on your beliefs as well. If you're spiritual, you believe in other things. And, yeah, I think that's the sweetest thing ever, though, and probably helped her quite a lot when she was...
And I think it's, whatever gets you through grief. And I think people can be very judgmental about the way people grieve. You've heard people say, wow, she didn't cry a tear at that funeral. And I think, well, you don't know that, somebody's been grieving for years. And, and I talk to my dad in my head. I don't, just occasionally. Sometimes things make me laugh. I hear a piece of music. Or sometimes I just go, come on, Dad, I need you to help me with this one. I think to myself. I don't do it out loud. So I definitely have conversations with him, and that's comforting to me, because he was a big rock of a man, my dad, and if ever I had a problem, it was my dad that I always went to, and he always had very good advice. So I do that sometimes if I'm struggling with something. I just think, come on, Dad, I need you to help me on this one or point me in the right direction.
Like there were things left unsaid?
No, because my dad had Alzheimer's and he was elderly, and so we knew he was going. And having said that, it didn't make it any easier. But I think when it's a shock, you're often left thinking, I wish I'd said this, I wish I'd said that.
Because that's what you were just saying about the suddenness. It's, you do kind of, if it is a sudden thing, you just, you play around in your head all the time about, well, I could have said this or I didn't say that, or...
And do you ever have conversations with people you've lost?
For me, it's music. I mean, Gloria, when she's on, she talks a lot about when she lost her daughter Karen, and she gets comfort from like seeing a white butterfly. And I always think like that. It's the same with a white feather. Occasionally, you just be walking along the street and a white feather floats down. And I lost a lot of friends. I lost my dad, and that for me, I just oh, that's them. Reminding me about them, or if a record comes on the radio that reminds me of them as well.
Or smells.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with you. I think everybody finds comfort in their own way, and so you can't knock anyone for believing that. I mean, as far as like the white feathers and things go, I don't. I just think, oh, it's a white feather.
Yeah.
But I think my jacket's like shedding. But I've got a friend who believes all of that. She gets so much comfort if she sees a rainbow, if she sees white feathers, if she sees a robin in the garden, all of that. And she'll be like, oh, that's my dad sending a message and all. And that brings her comfort. So who am I to say, no, it's not.
No,
but I think it's letting things go. I remember I had a voicemail off Bernie, and I kept that probably for the first two years. I would have probably...
Did you listen to it?
Not every day, no, but it was just one of those things where I thought, I don't want to delete it because that's the last time I will have heard her voice. I will always have her voice there, especially aimed at me, because obviously there's loads of things on film that I can watch from the years ago and stuff, but that was a personal message. And then I had to get a new phone and all the voicemails were wiped. But it didn't bring me sadness, and I thought, OK, it's obviously time to let that go. You know?
I think that's the most difficult thing, is when someone dies, do you delete them from your phone? It feels disloyal or something
But
about
I don't.
that.
I've still got Bernie's mobile number in my phone, and I still have Linda Bellingham's number in my phone.
Yeah.
I don't.
Have you kept phone numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I've lost quite a few friends in the last few years, and one of them last year was the journalist A.A. Gill, and I called him Adrian, that was his name, but he was in my phone as A.A. Gill. So, of course, whenever I get in my car or whatever, you know, you've got the phone thing, when I put my phone on, his name always
comes
is at
up.
the top, so it's there on the screen every time. And it's really weird, but I just can't bring myself to delete it.
No.
Yeah.